All right, guys, back at it again, fresh off the Ranking Every Slayer album video. Conquered yet again another pretty big discography. So, as we kind of do, here we go. I kind of do either like a short little discography or just a one-off album, kind of in between here. And I announced then in that video that we're going to be looking at this thing right here, this one-off Emerson, Lake, and Powell. Palmer's not involved in this one. We've got Cozy Powell on this thing here. And, this was a late, kind of mid-80s album, 1986. Emerson, Lake, and Palmer were really prevalent in, like, the 70s, for the most part. But, they got a big change when they added a powerhouse drummer. Like, one of my favorites of all time, Cozy Powell. All right? You guys know my love for him if you've seen, like, the Black Sabbath album reviews I did in which he was involved in, or the Ranking Every Black Sabbath video where I talked about him again. And I love just about everything he freaking touches. And we'll see if this is any different. And, and of course it's still Greg Lake on vocals, bass, and guitars. What little guitars there are. It's kind of hard to even hear guitars, which is such a cool thing about this album. It's like, hey, we really don't need this that much. And we're going to show you how what kind of album we can make. Cozy Powell doing the drums and percussion, and Keith Emerson, of course, on keyboards. But we started off with a pretty big one here, a 9-minute, 10-second, kind of epic sounding one called The Score. And man, such a cool song, really big feel to it, which again is big part due to Cozy Powell. But Keith Emerson on the keyboards makes you feel like you're walking into a stadium or something, and just like this. That classic Keith Emerson sound that he gets on the keyboard is just really cool. Very 80s synthy kind of thing he's going for more on here. Again, not really any guitars that I can hear on here. It says he's doing guitars. I guess maybe they're in the background somewhere, but it's not needed because the keyboards are really big melody drivers on this album. And same with this track. And you wait several minutes until Greg Lake finally joins in on vocals, which is cool, and has a really cool, really cool feel to it, really big feel for this track, and I like the singing from Greg Lake, and just solid opener, and I like how they opened it up with this kind of epic to show that, hey man, we're still doing the prog thing, even though we got some synthy stuff going on in here. Then we go on to Learning to Fly. And this is another solid one with, holy hell. Keith Emerson's probably the best keyboard solo on the freaking album. He just, about midway through this thing, he tears it up. This has got a really, really hooky chorus, which you'll find, scattered on here. Especially with these short little tracks like Learning to Fly, which is like 3 minutes and some change there. But another solid track that you just can't go wrong with. Probably not my favorite off here, which we'll get to maybe some of my favorites and such. I will say, I think The Score would be up there as one of my favorites off here. It's just a really, really cool song. But yeah, then Learning to Fly, another solid track. Then we close side one with another big kind of epic one here with The Miracle. And man, they just hit the nail on the head yet again with this one. They clearly know prog, and they clearly know how to do this thing. And Cozy Powell's no stranger to, being really adaptive to different, hell, he's played for Black Sabbath, Whitesnake, Rainbow, Yngwie Malmsteen. He knows how to adapt to whatever situation he's in, but still bring, all what he's got to the table. it even sounds like you're getting enormous bass drums on this track, like the big, standing bass drum, which is just a really cool sound. And, Cozy has that signature drum sound that is, again, very, very prevalent on all over here. And he really, I really listen for him in this because I love Cozy. And he just freaking kills it on here. Powerhouse. And The Miracle is another solid one here. And this is the closing to side one because, this is a 7-minute one. The Score is a 9-minute one. But, I dig definitely off the side one these two big epic ones with The Score and The Miracle, and Learning to Fly thrown in there is another plus. Then we open up side two with, man, this one is, if it's not my favorite, it's definitely tied with it. Touch and Go. This one was kind of a hit. What a cool freaking feel. You know, you kind of get like a soft kind of synth feel going on. These really kind of a badass feel and really cool lyrics and hook to the chorus and verses. And then, you know, you get, it opens up with Keith Emerson with like probably the freaking hookiest melody, keyboard melody he's got on this album. Just sounds so 80s, which I love. And then Powell, Cozy Powell jumps in here, you know, and it's on from there. And the groove to this one, not really a fast track or anything, just kind of a groove to it that just gives you a really, really badass feel. I mean, Touch and Go is just such a freaking incredible song. That's the song that made me want to listen to this album for the first time. I think maybe a year ago now is when I actually first, discovered this album, and I had to get it immediately. So, but yeah, Touch and Go was like my gateway into this album. My uncle showed me that song, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get that album, and I gotta listen to it. So just incredible stuff. Then we go to probably my, the one I was talking about, the Touch and Go might be tied with here, Love Blind, and probably the hookiest chorus, and, verses, or just the hookiest song period off here, with like the kind of fun melody. This one sounds like I'm surprised this one wasn't a hit or didn't get, airplay, or a lot of it at least. I don't know if it got any at all, but, I mean, it's just got kind of more upbeat kind of sound. I love the kind of tapping on the keys from Keith Emerson here, and to kind of carry along the track. And then Cozy's definitely, I mean, he's here obviously, but he's on this kind of more commercial sounding tune, which again, I think it sounds like it could have been a really big hit. I mean, it's just a fun one. Love Blind is just it's definitely like top two for me. Touch and Go and Love Blind are just, man, good stuff. Then we got Step Aside, which that one, this one, yeah, man, this one is almost like, it's real jazzy, really, really cool. Kind of has got like a real jazzy, kind of bluesy feel to it with the piano, just straight up piano going on here. Some really cool kind of jazzy drumming from Cozy. So it was really cool. You get to see these guys kind of dabble in a lot of different areas, and even with the jazz stuff with Step Aside. So that's a really fun track too. Then we get Lay Down Your Guns, another solid one. This one is it's got kind of a powerful, and kind of slower, melody and everything. Kind of a more of a sorrowful track. Talk about surrendering and in a war. And it's just a really cool song. I think it's just solid stuff to kind of almost close out the album. Which if you pull out the inner sleeve in here, I didn't see, maybe I overlooked it, but I didn't see what is the final track on here, Mars, the Bringer of War, which is really cool. It's a 7-minute epic, but this is one that I think kind of goes on a little too long. Like, it just kind of at some parts, they'll just kind of, be hitting a couple of things, and they're just kind of like screwing around a little bit, I think, near the end. I think you could cut this track down, which, if you guys know, I love them epic length tracks, but this one was one that I don't think it was really necessary, but it is a decent song. But because of that, I think Mars, the Bringer of War is probably my least favorite off here out of all we got here. So, and not a very long album, just a fun, quick listen through, but it's got some awesome freaking material that is a must for Cozy Powell fans, or even Emerson, Lake, and Palmer fans. It's a super group, even though it's just the three guys. But then, but yeah, Love Blind, Touch and Go, Step Aside, The Score, The Miracle, Learning to Fly. That is just top tier stuff. Great proggy, synthy, 80s poppy sounding album, again with a little bit of jazz sprinkled in there. So it's just kind of a really, really fun listen if you've never heard of this album, or have kind of been, deterred away from looking into it, because I know a lot, this album does get a lot of hate, at least from what I've seen, or just people being like, whatever, they were trying to make a hit with Touch and Go, and they made a minor hit with it. But so what? It's just a badass song, But yeah, so it'd be really cool to hear your guys' thoughts on this album if you've not checked it out, or maybe you'll end up checking it out after this video if you haven't. And it'd be cool to kind of talk about this just one-off band with this only album they put out, unfortunately, because I think these guys had a really awesome chemistry here. But with that being said, we're gonna announce the next band, the next big discography, which isn't like an enormous one, but it's pretty lengthy. We're talking about Alice in Chains. Yeah, been wanting to conquer that one for a little bit, so we're going to be doing that. So that'll kind of be the next era we delve into. Really, really hyped for it. They got they span a couple decades, which is crazy. Considering they came out like what, 89? Not their first album, but that like the band were kind of formed at I believe in 89. They had demos and stuff, and they've been around, and they're still pumping out stuff. So it's going to be a really, really fun one, guys. I'm sure there's a lot of Alice in Chains fans out there that probably watch this channel, so it'll be fun to hear your guys' opinions and share all that as we go along through those. So get ready for that, because that's what's coming next time. Let me review Alice in Chains' debut album, Facelift. That came out in 1990. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this thing. Let me know, if you're a fan of Alice in Chains and if you're going to be tagging along in this thing. We can talk about that as well. And like, subscribe, comment. Thanks, guys.